Aloha, Andrew. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me, brother.
Hey James, thanks for having me, man. It's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's good to connect, man. What's been happening there over in Hawaii?
It's all right. I mean, things are starting to slowly open again. I haven't done a show since maybe January 2020, but I think we're gonna finally have a live performance, socially distanced tables, and like they have like a blast shield in May. So it's interesting, but I've been keeping myself busy with teaching ukulele and yeah, just trying not to go too crazy in here. I've just been stuck on the island for the longest I've ever been here, like consecutive days. So, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Good, all going well this end, man. It's New Zealand. We've been very fortunate, I guess, in some ways, with how the our country has handled it. So there's been somewhat normality to a certain degree. But honestly, I want to say a massive thank you because you in the ukulele world are a huge deal. And I know you're very humble, and I know you don't like blowing your own trumpet or blowing your own ukulele, but I'm here to do that for you because I remember the day I came across one of your YouTube performances. And for anybody listening out there, this, when you think of traditional ukulele, Andrew takes it to a whole new world. For me, brings in like dance, pop, jazz, blues, everything. It's incredible. So I'm excited to talk about what started you off on that journey. So where did this passion for ukulele begin?
Well, honestly, it's like, growing up in Hawaii, the ukulele is just, it's actually like, it's very, very common. So think of it like as if every house had an ukulele in it, and it's just, but people just see it as kind of like an item that, be on a shelf or on a wall. It's kind of like, oh, it's just, it's like a lamp. Oh, they have an ukulele. It's nothing special. Or it's just like, it's kind of just, you see so much of it that it's just like, it's kind of a thing. And then from when I was small, it's like people who did like the luau shows, they played ukulele and some of the really local stuff, and that was just my perception of the ukulele. It's like that's an accompanying instrument, and you sing Hawaiian music. And when I was about 13 years old, I remember my friend used to come over every Friday, and just one Friday he brought his ukulele over because he was taking it in school, and my grandma had this old vintage ukulele from the 1960s, and she said, "Oh, why don't you go play with him?" So I said, "Okay." So he taught me my first couple strumming songs, and I remember I was really just like kind of happy and excited. I was like, "Oh, I can find," you feel really accomplished when you play like, your first song, and the fact that, ukulele is just the learning curve is very quick, so you have that instant gratification on day one, and I was just like, "Wow, this is fun." And then he said, "Oh, I'll come back next Friday and we can learn some more." And within that one week, I remember my mom showed me some stuff on ukulele. My cousin, who was playing it for a few years, he would come and teach me some picking, which was new to me. And yeah, that just kind of started the foundation of this ukulele hobby of mine. And yeah, that was my kind of how I first started on it.
I love it. And when you think about, because now you do it as a career, so to get it to the point where I would say I would call you a master of the ukulele, to get it to that point of mastery, what was like the journey? Was it like, hey, I got to practice a little bit, or did you become quite like fanatical about practicing and developing and improving?
Oh, I love this part. It's actually so after that whole beginning of playing a little bit Hawaiian music, I discovered a guy named Jake Shimabukuro, which now he's just like he's world renowned, and he just was the guy who put the ukulele on the map. But back in the day, I mean, he was still growing, but man, I was just so amazed of what he could do on the ukulele. And I just remember I got a DVD for my dad. He gave it to me for Christmas, and I would watch that thing like so often. I'm like, I was just amazed because it was something that I've never heard before. And on top of it, my dad's like, "Okay, I got tickets. Let's go see him." So within that 1 month of me watching that DVD, I became like a huge fan. You know, I would wear his T-shirt to school. He was like my hero. And I just remember the first concert he played, and I was just the energy that he gave to the crowd. And when I met him after, and the way he made me feel, he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And when a hero does that, that's just like there's no greater feeling than that. And I just remember going home and telling myself, when I grow up, I want to do that. And so like that little vision of possibly performing when I grew up, it started at that young age. And I just wanted to learn all his songs, and going to school, it made me relentless in practicing, because I wanted to just get better and better. And it became an obsession. And that's why I became obsessed, and I think, and me and you both agree that obsessed is a positive word. You know, when it's something you're passionate about, you have to be obsessed to be successful, I believe.
100%. And I think that is the key starting point. We have chatted about that quite a bit before. When you're setting out to do something, is having a really clear vision of that future and being obsessively passionate about following
Yeah.
through. You talk about Jake. So in my mind, Hawaii has the big three, and it's yourself, it's Jake, and it's Kale. And you guys
I
are,
appreciate it, man. Thanks.
yeah, man, you're leading the way, and you really are innovating what the ukulele can do, and you're taking it all over the world. So you've not only performed around your own island and country, but you've been overseas, right?
Oh yeah. So that all started. Yeah, it is funny. It all started from busking under the banyan tree here in Lahaina, like pretty much no pay, just tips, and selling my debut CD. And from that point, it's like we don't know where that can take you. And we just kept pushing, and within a couple years, I hit the West Coast. And then yeah, it started 2017. That's when things started picking up, and then we did Tahiti, we did the UK twice. We headlined one of the ukulele festivals in um in the UK. We just did Austria in 2019, and then I went to China in 2018 and 2019. So it's been a very incredible journey for sure.
That's amazing. And for people listening out here, say some of the younger generation who are thinking, you know what, I want to follow my passion and I want to take whether it's music or art or anything creative, if they want to take it and make it a career, what does it take to do that, to take that leap of faith?
First, it takes a burning desire, and don't let anyone tell you not. And this is something that it's crazy because we talk about this all the time, but it's something that I understood at the age of 13, even though I didn't know how to like write it out. I didn't really quite understand. I knew within, like subconsciously, because I just remember I would be learning these hard Jake songs, and then I would try to get my friends to do it, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's too hard." And I'd be like, "Oh, come on, you guys! It's just so much fun." And then it got to the point, after like maybe the first year of playing, I was just like, I would tell my friends, "Oh, one day I'm gonna be just like Jake. I'm gonna go traveling," and they'd be like, "Yeah, right. Good luck with that." Like everyone never took me seriously, but I never once doubted myself. And I feel like I kind of jumped this into reality because I would obsess and daydream in class. Like we'd be we'd be in English class or like math class. I'm not a math guy. It doesn't click with me. So we'd be in math class, and then they'd be going over algebra, and I'm just like, I can't wait to practice that song so one day I can play it in front of an audience. So it was just like I had a desire, and I never let anyone discourage me from going and achieving that goal. And it's a process, like even from the design of my ukulele to the people I'm kind of like hanging out with now. Like a lot of the people that I dreamt about, like, oh, I want to hang with these people because they're just the elites of the ukulele world. Like they're all good friends of mine now, and it's just like it wasn't a mistake. I truly, if for the young ones out there, if you can really see it up here and you really believe in yourself and you don't let anyone discourage you from that goal, you can achieve anything you want. And I can tell you for firsthand that it really is possible, and just that gratification of achieving that, there's no greater feeling than that.
That's amazing. And when I hear you say that, I can relate that to, say, an elite sports person, to a multi-millionaire entrepreneur, to a father who's felt like he's done a great job bringing up his child. Those same ingredients, I think, apply across all areas. So for anyone listening, they can apply that to whatever they do. I love that.
100%, 100%. Yeah, it's and don't let your aspirations don't be satisfied. Keep striving for goal. So I'm always, whenever I achieve something, I always, and I know you probably do the same thing, but always set something higher to always keep you going, because you have to be excited. You have to create goals that you get stoked and obsessed about.
I love it. And so when we think about that, you've got like this, I would say, a success formula. You've got a formula that's worked for you to become incredibly good at the ukulele, which you could take now and you could apply it to business. You could apply it to anything that you wanted to do. So for
Yeah.
everybody out there, what would you say are some of the key ingredients to be successful? And like, what's your formula that helped you? What you mentioned, burning desire. You mentioned a really clear vision of the future. What else are some key ingredients that people have got to commit to if they want to
Oh,
actually follow
that's
through.
a good one. Hard work. You have to put the time in. You have to, and it wasn't an easy journey by far. And a lot of people don't see that side. They just see the result. But yeah, there's countless days where, I mean, there was a point where I quit ukulele and my senior year because I couldn't. I was so frustrated. I wasn't able to write my own music, and I could only play covers. So I became very insecure to the point where my dad would find me a gig to play it at the fair, and I'd tell him no because I would be ashamed. I was like, oh, that's not my music. I'm still playing these songs I was playing when I was 14 years old, and I was almost 18, and I became very insecure about that. So it's just after putting in lots of hard work, I started having the ability to songwrite and even arrange. And it's gotten easier over the years. And right now, it's just like one of my favorite things to do is songwriting, and that's really hard to do. So put in the hard work. If it's music theory or whatever your craft is, you have to put in the hard work because that's a very important component to achieving your goal.
That's amazing. And it's interesting when you get to that stage where you didn't want to go and perform, and there was that like embarrassment or that shame or that I'm not enough. So the hard work helped you, the actual physical side of it. What about from the psychological side of it? What work did you have to do up there as well as learning the new skills?
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to let go of the fear of criticism, the fear of failure. Like enough thinking, what if? Because it's really that's the reason why like it we hesitate. Like and for the first couple of years when I was touring with my dad, he would always say something after the show, like, "Oh, did you think that was good?" I mean, sometimes it was brutal, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like because you put yourself out there and you play hard, and when someone says something like that, it's just like, "Oh, dang, that's brutal." So it got to the point where every time there would be that hard section of the song, I would get nervous and I would mess up every single time because I would be thinking, "What happens if I don't pull it off?" Or instead of verses like, "Let me just do it and let's see what happens." So once I shifted my mentality, which was 2018, I noticed that I started messing up less because I didn't have that fear. So yeah, we have to try to let go of the fear of what people think, so fear of criticism and also the fear of failure. And I think once we can get rid of those fears, then it'll help, the vision, it'll help the hardware, it will help all the other components. But that might be the first biggest obstacle actually, when I think of
That's
it, because even
incredible.
some of my peers that I encouraged them to even like pursue the dream of music, and they said, "Oh, I don't know what my parents will think," or like, and just right there, that could have changed someone's future just because of their parents' opinion, even though they felt inside that that's what they were meant to do. And a good friend of mine actually said, "I wish I had listened to you," and I didn't listen, and that's very unfortunate. So I give her a guidance when I can, but yeah, that's one more advice I would say is just like just focus on you and don't focus what anyone else says.
Great advice. And you talked about your dad there. So that's actually the first video I ever came across on YouTube was you and your dad jamming out to Sweet Child of Mine. It was epic. So this is
uh
something you get to enjoy with your dad, right?
oh yeah, and my dad is we I kind of come from a musical family, so like my grandpa and his eight brothers, eight brothers, they were in a big band orchestra from like the 1930s to the 1980s, and they were well known here on Maui. And all like my cousins and like uncles, everyone just kind of picked up instruments. It was just like a in the genes, you could say. And my dad was a lifelong musician since he was a teenager. Right out of high school, he formed the band, went to Oahu, and just started performing. And that was just his livelihood. As a kid, I'd see him take his bass to the luau every night, and that was like his thing. That was dad's thing, was playing music. And we never really, even the first years of ukulele, we never did play with each other I think it was only up until 2013 once we started doing the band entry gig. Then he's just like, "Oh, I'll accompany you," and he's a bass player, but we started doing guitar ukulele, which is very interesting, and we didn't add the bass until 2016. But then that's when we started putting the ukulele and or just that's when we started working together musically, and it's just yeah, kind of started this new bond, I guess,
It's a
that we
beautiful
never had
bond when
before
father
through
and
music.
son can do that.
Yeah, we're very very fortunate, and everyone loves that whole dynamic. And it's just cool to be able to, like, tour with your dad and play music and just share that moment. It's pretty undescribable, but I'm very, very lucky that he donates his time to practice and to help me achieve these goals that I've had for half my life already. So I feel
I
very, very
love it.
blessed.
I'm sure he's very proud of you. And when we
He
think
is,
about
definitely.
Hawaii, I mean, I remember the first time I started thinking about Hawaii as a youngster. I remember seeing a photo of my granddad standing on the beach there at Waikiki. Thought, wow, I need to go there one day. So eventually I got there and fell in love with Hawaii. And what I fell in love with, yes, it's got beautiful beaches, but so does Australia, New Zealand, California. It wasn't the beaches. The beaches were cool, but it was actually like there's something in the air. And whether we call it the aloha spirit, but there's something really magical about the Hawaiian Islands. And I had the good fortune, it was really by chance actually, sitting down in Waikiki at this restaurant to watch the sunset. I'd sat in the same seat. I'm a person of routine, right? I'd sat in the same seat every night for like 6 nights. And this night, the sun's about to come down. The server comes over and goes, "Hey, there's actually a person that sits at this table every week on this night. We forgot to put a reserve sign. Would you mind if he comes and joins you and your partner?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Like, of course, no problem. We can move." She's like, no. He would probably enjoy your company. I was like, "Sounds great." This elderly gentleman sits down and he's very charming, a very handsome face. He's probably in his late 70s or 80s. And so we get chatting away, and when the band stops playing, they come over and they're like, "Oh, uncle, so great to see you." I'm like, this guy is well known. So I say to one of the band folk, I was like, "Hey, who is this guy? Like, how do you know him?" And they're like, "Oh, his name's Eddie, Uncle Eddie." I say, "Oh, so what did Eddie do, or why do you all know him so well? Everybody seems to know." "That's Eddie Kamai. He was a really, really good ukulele player." And so I went to the bathroom, got my phone out as you do, Googled Eddie Kamai, and I was like, "Whoa, mind blown." One of the best ever like ukulele players and filmmakers. He was passionate about Hawaii and taking it to the world and expressing what Hawaii was about. So I had a beautiful night with Eddie. It was incredible. And he sold me some CDs and I've still got him and I love him. But the one thing that really came to life for me was that his passion for Hawaii, the music, the aloha spirit, that's what drove him so much to be an entrepreneur, to be a change maker. So I want to talk about you, and I can see the same passion in you. And I can see that you're so fired up about what you do. So if we look at the long term, next 10, 20, 30 years, what's your mission? Like, do you want to keep the music at home in Maui, or do you want to take it to the world?
Oh, I definitely want to take it to the world.
Love
Yeah,
it.
just I love traveling. I love meeting new people. I love sharing just my music, and I love connecting. Like, one of my favorites, I do love playing ukulele, but I do love performing, and I love just like bringing people together in that performance setting, and you just feel the energy in the room. And there's nothing more that I want to do than that. And it's ironic because when I was a kid, I was the shyest kid like of all time. Like, I would be the kid at the back of the classroom that would be try to hide behind the other kid so you wouldn't get called on. But they always find you anyways.
Oh, absolutely. I know that.
And then, yeah, I would just it was just crazy to think about, because like I never imagined at that age that the thing that I used to fear the most is the thing I enjoy the most now. Because now it's just I can't wait to get in front of people and and entertain them and play music. So I definitely want to push the envelope and continue this journey of pushing the limits of the ukulele. And I want to travel all over the world and introduce people to what the ukulele can do, because it's crazy. There is no limits. It's not just a Hawaiian strumming instrument. It can be used for all genres, and that's what my mission is. For me, whenever I play, I showcase all the different genres it can do. Rock, pop, jazz. Of course, you got Hawaiian, classical, and there's no limit. And so I want to be able. I do want to get to that next level and play all over the world. That is the vision.
I love it. Well, I look forward to you coming to New Zealand. I'll be welcoming you with open
Oh, for
arms.
sure, man. I can't wait.
It's going to be epic. And I want to talk about what you're working on it now, because I know that you're not only a performer and a teacher, but you're also doing a lot of things to try and help other people embrace the instrument. So people can head along to andrewmolina.ukulele.com to check
Yes.
out your website. But have you got a few other things that you're working on that we can maybe share with some of the listeners?
Yeah. So right now I'm currently, I mean, I've been doing a lot of teaching and helping, not just, not just teaching, like, okay, we can pluck this, pluck that, but I'm also helping people achieve their goals. So I'm actually helping people, even like working towards ambitious goals, like an album since I've been there. So I'm kind of like coaching them in a way. So I've been doing a lot of teaching and slash coaching, you could say. And also my podcast, the AM Ukulele podcast will be coming April 30th. So that's what I've been in the works for the past maybe 4 to 5 months, actually. So that's going to be real good. And I'm
Fantastic.
also, the biggest project is working on my own ukulele academy, which I'm shooting for a June release, but we'll see. But it all very, very exciting, and I can't wait.
That's amazing. And what's just incredible about that is that, people can go along to YouTube right now and check out your performances. They can go to your website and download and buy your incredible albums. But not only that, they can start to learn from you and understand how you think and why you play the way you play through your academy and on your podcast. So I encourage everybody that's listening, that's passionate about any form of music, to go along, because ukulele music is phenomenal. And for me personally, I often play it if I'm sitting working at home. That's what I'm playing. It's ukulele music. It's just the best. So I want to say a massive thank you, and I want to wish you nothing but the best for the future. I don't think this will be our last conversation, so I'm super
Definitely
excited,
not.
and mahalo.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the content today, please smash that subscribe button below. And if you want to become part of my community, I've got an amazing free Facebook group. Please come and join us. The link is in the description below. And also, if you've got any questions about today's session, I'd love to know. Just comment below and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. Have the most amazing day.